Welcome back to another episode of Excuse My Grandma. It's Kim and my co-host.
Grandma Gail.
We have pink microphone cover.
Yeah, we're very into pink now. Everything into women. We're very,
pink isn't only a women color.
No, but it's our spring color.
Yes.
We're very excited about pink this spring. So that's been on every single conversation that we've had. Pink is in.
We wore matching pink sweaters to dinner last night.
Yeah, we're very in the pink. Even though the weather was not it was cold and rainy, we were very spring-like, so that's good.
Well, it's weird because Mom also wore pink.
Oh, right.
Like
that's
everyone
correct.
was thinking pink.
Well, everybody was it was so depressing all day that they wanted to make themselves feel a little more lighthearted.
Isn't there a song like Think Pink or something?
I don't know. You're in the pink. I don't know what the song is, but whatever it is, it does make you feel better. It makes your skin look good. It makes your disposition feel good. So, okay, Kim, now what's happening this week in your life?
Well, we've been in Florida, or I have the last few days. I was in New York before, kind of going back and forth. What have we've gotten like a lot of videos done this week.
Well, we did a wonderful QVC thing on pickleball, yes. Which we really, both of us don't know how to play, but we're going to learn.
We want to take lessons.
Exactly. And I think it's a smaller court, so I can run around a little better in it. We're going to try. It's definitely happening. And there are pickleball courts being built down here now, because I guess it's gotten very, very popular.
It's the fastest growing sport in America.
Well, we have the rackets. We have the outfits. Now we just need the skill. So we'll do it. We're gonna get on top of this sport this summer.
What else did we do this week that was exciting?
Well, exciting. I went to see several shows at the Kravis this week, which, for people who live in a big city like San Francisco or New York or Milan or Paris or London, they don't realize, they take for granted the wonderful cultural programs that these cities give their populations. But when you live in smaller, more local communities, when you get an art center, everybody is so excited. And that's what happened here about 15 years ago. And each year it gets better, and it gets more artists come down here. Certainly the symphonies all come here, which are wonderful.
So before 15 years ago, where did you go for like shows?
You didn't go anywhere. There was a playhouse. There was a playhouse in Palm Beach. There is one theater company up north. And the bulk of the culture really took place in Miami. Mm-hmm. And, Miami is a fabulous, Miami is a big city. So it's a whole different kind of atmosphere, and it has different qualities there. You have art, and you have music, and you have ballet, and you have to have a large population to support those cultural activities. I mean, you can't do it with a small little, maybe 50,000 population in a community, because it takes a lot of money to support these arts. But it is happening here, and with the flight to the southern states, we see much more activity and much more excitement about our cultural centers. As a matter of fact, this morning I read an article in the paper. There's a new Y being constructed in West Palm Beach. And this, for children, a new swim center, a new gym, these things add to the quality of life in our neighborhoods and make it a destination that people want to come to and live in. Mm-hmm. So that's exciting.
We saw Seinfeld there.
Well, you got to talk about that a little. I also saw, before we started on Seinfeld, a couple of nights before, I went to Bernadette Peters.
Oh, yeah. You didn't invite me. That was so rude.
Well, I thought you were going with your mom and dad for dinner. I didn't think about it, to be very truthful. But she was wonderful. She's in her mid-70s. Her figure is divine. Her voice is still very good. And she sings the Stephen Sondheim songs that made her famous, such as In Follies and Into the Woods. And her voice was wonderful. And she was on for straight 80 minutes. She didn't get off the stage, and she sang all the songs. Her backup was wonderful. She had a wonderful orchestra, and the pianist conductor was extra special. So, when those things happen, even if your voice isn't like it was 30 years ago, somehow it sounds great. And she was wonderful. And then she ends, because she's very involved in dog rescues. So she's written a book, she's written a song for animal rescue, and that was very sweet. So her encore was all about her her charitable activity in rescuing animals. So that was really nice, and so that was my first night there, I guess, on Wednesday, and then we went to
Seinfeld on over the weekend,
Friday, right?
And I thought it was funny. He was definitely aimed a little bit toward like married couples, and
well, that's his thing now, because that's what he's not on a sitcom where he's single.
Yeah,
he's really married with 3 kids.
Right.
So his humor was basically about couples and how their relationships, which we talk about often, change as the years go on.
Yeah.
And I thought the funniest bit for those listening and
Let's
who
see
happen
if you
to be,
can tell it as good as he can.
No, I'm not going to tell it, but he says the only 2 decisions a man has to make is to first call
No, that's not what it was.
Oh, what you tell me.
It was the only decision your wife cares about that you make.
Oh, yeah, well,
is the day you ask them on a date and the day you ask them to marry them.
Right.
Otherwise, don't ask any questions.
Exactly. Which, is funny as you get older. It's probably not so funny at your age, but when you're...
I get it. It's relatable. But I'm not like, oh my God, that's so mean. I don't care.
I thought it was very funny. And I like the jokes about his kids and his, he does a whole a bit on that, and which is very funny. And he has a 20-year-old that's gone to college now, and he's got 2 teens at home, and he does humor that is very relatable, especially to people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, because we've all gone through it.
Yeah.
I don't see that material going over well with millennials.
Probably not, but I don't know. He's universally funny and relatable. I always wonder what it's like to be his kids in this situation. It's like your dad's Jerry Seinfeld. Same thing with Larry David.
I think it's very hard. And a lot of families, I don't, not about him, I don't really know about his personal life at any real extent, but I think a lot of actors who are in the limelight all the time really try to shelter their children away from it. I mean, we're not talking about the Kardashians of the world where when you change a diaper, it makes major news. But most of the really big stars of the past have really tried to keep their children out of the limelight because it's really an artificial world. And they don't want their kids to be completely messed up. Everyone's going to be messed up anyway, which is what he was basically saying. His funniest bit was when he says when he was little, which I related to. When it was bedtime, your parents said, "Go to bed, turn off the lights." And now he says, which is relatable to your generation, when your child is ready for bed, you have to get the proper bathrobe on. You have to go get your 6 books that you're going to read to them. So it's really a generational difference.
That's true.
And it was very humorous. I mean, he's always entertaining. I must say, I had one problem at the theater.
What?
You know the problem. There was a woman sitting behind me that was screaming. I mean, I don't mean laughing. I mean, everybody.
She was just laughing. I don't think you can yell at someone for laughing.
I didn't yell at her. I said, "Shh, you're making too much noise." I missed half the lines because every joke, she went into a wild tirade that I thought she had given birth or something.
Have you ever heard of being told to stop laughing at a comedy show?
Well, that wasn't laughing. It was yelling. It was laughing, then yelling.
Okay.
I think there's a difference.
I was sitting next to you, and I did not notice.
Well, because she was right behind me.
Oh, okay.
So I missed, first of all, during the first part, the warm-up act, I missed everything because the woman didn't stop laughing.
No, I think also he was mumbling a little bit.
Oh. But I thought he was funny. I enjoyed him, but I couldn't hear him. So
maybe it was the acoustics. I don't really know what's going on.
Well, I don't think the
hard in a giant
and I don't exactly. I don't think the acoustics are really that fabulous for a one man up on the stage.
Right.
Except I must say, Bernadette Peters, I understood perfectly.
Exactly.
So that's not true. I'm going to take that
back. She knows
back.
how to carry her voice.
Yeah,
too,
maybe. And Seinfeld, you could hear.
Yeah, I could hear.
You could hear him. I mean, he yells into the mic.
Yeah, he yells too.
And he was also funny. The one bit I love, which is generational too, is about the water and dehydration. I mean, in the old days, nobody knew about being dehydrated. Now he has to walk. His wife tells him to walk around with a bottle of water all the time, or he'll be dehydrated.
Yeah.
Which I think you have that same illness. Dehydration.
I always am walking around with a bottle of water, but I'm never drinking it. I don't know. I just lug it from one place to another and spill it.
It's like a security blanket.
Yeah,
you're carrying your water not to become dehydrated.
Yeah, it's just exactly the thought that I know that I won't have to be in a situation where I'll be thirsty because I have it. but I've never.
Who's thirsty? That's what he said. He said, how can you be thirsty? People went for days without drinking water. Now every 5 minutes, somebody says, oh, you're going to get dehydrated. Drink water.
Yeah.
I mean, that was really very funny. His whole bit was funny. And actually, friends of ours, that was Friday night. We went to an early show. I think we ate at 4 to get to the show. I really felt like I was in Florida on Friday because our evening was over at 8:30.
Yeah. No, and I like do love being in Florida and having those nights, but also like I definitely had fun in New York, being like having later nights and doing like spontaneous plans and things like that. Went on a lot of dates, which brings us to our dating topic of the week. I was trying to think about, as a single person, a lot of us talk about having a roster, which is like either a written down, but usually a mental thing of like guys that you're or girls that you're talking to, and kind of in an order of like, if this one doesn't work out, then I have this one. If you're dating multiple people at once, to kind of keep track. Like, do you think it's important to keep track?
I don't know. I used to have a situation when I was growing up, and it's very different now. I had a date on Thursday with one guy, Friday, and then Saturday. They were slotted for a very long time. Sometimes I moved the Friday up to Saturday. Sometimes they got demoted. And I'm sure they knew, but it didn't seem to bother us. First of all, we got married so young that I didn't have a long time having to do that. But even in college, I remember having a Friday night guy and a Saturday night guy. So, but I think you can get a little tripped up in today's world if you have too many people on the roster.
I know, that's the thing. Like, even sometimes I will be like, oh, I'll do a day date and then a night date, and you get so paranoid, like, what if I say something that was on the day date that I meant for the night date, and like you kind of trip yourself up a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's,
and like,
I
what
don't
if the
think
day
it's so
person
good.
sees you on your night date and then they're like, wow, dates in a day? But
well, they might be doing the same thing, Kim.
True.
So I think what's good for the goose in today's world is good for the gander.
Yeah.
So they're doing the exact same thing. There's no such thing as a difference in how the sexes react to dating now. I think it's all the same. The guys are still out there on the prowl, and the girls are looking, and it hasn't changed. The world doesn't change.
But do you think it's like unhealthy to have backups or to have a roster?
No, I don't think it's unhealthy, but I think you shouldn't have too many. I think you can have one or two people that you really like to be with. And, that's fine. Until you've committed to one person, you're not going to sit around waiting for that one person to call you all the time. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's just a
guess
recipe
the
for
rules also,
disaster.
like, don't tell somebody unless it's a joke, like, oh, you're on the roster.
Oh, no. I don't think you should discuss your dates with your other dates at all. I think that's bad form.
What about if it's like old dates that you don't see anymore? Like, sometimes if there's like a relevant story where you're like, oh my god, once like
no
blah, blah, blah,
I don't
blah,
think rehashing an old experience with a date is very smart, because either they'll get jealous or annoyed, or it's really of no importance. I mean, unless it's a major moment in time that the lightning came down and you saw some revelation of some sort, who cares? Most of the things you do on dates are just fun and to fill time and to meet each other and understand where each of you are coming from. I don't think your experience with one is very similar to the experience with a second fellow, because everybody is different and should be treated differently as you would like to be treated. And I think everybody really wants to find somebody they're comfortable with. That's the bottom line. Comfortable with and attracted to, and that you're going to have fun with on a steady basis. And then maybe it'll grow into something even more serious. I think especially as you get older. When you're in your early 20s, forget it. The world is your oyster. And you shouldn't settle about one person. That's wrong, unless you fall madly in love, the two of you. But it's a time to experience life and to see what is out there and to see what you really is important to you, but which was different from when I dated. I mean, we didn't have that kind of freedom. But now there is really much more freedom, and whether it's good or bad, that's up for conversation, and people will discuss that for years and years to come. But I think that now you have to really, be more selective. and just not date everybody. I mean, at some point you get tired. You get tired of dating. I think you get tired of the small talk. So I think that's why so many guys and girls say, you know what, enough is enough. That's my rule that everybody's having a controversy over. We should really discuss that again, Kim. That it's enough. I want to settle down, and that's it. And the girl in front of you or the guy in front of you is who you're going to end up with.
I think settling down is different than settling. So I don't think it's like, oh, I'm exhausted.
No.
I'm just going to go with this Tom, Dick, or Harry. Like, right. I don't think it's like that.
No. But it's the timing. Timing is the word. Timing in life is everything. Just like timing to find the right job is everything. You know, you have different circumstances at different points in your career as well. Yeah. So all things, work towards different stages of your life.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about our videos that we've done this week and read some of the comments. First, I want to say we hit 400,000 TikTok followers.
Yeah, Kimmy, that was really very exciting.
Which means only 100,000 more till we show who Poppy is.
Maybe he might hold out for more.
We'll see, but definitely Mom by then.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Okay, so one of the videos we did this week, excuse my grandma's 18th rule: you'll never meet someone at a bar at 2 a.m. Go home.
Well, I really firmly believe that. You shouldn't be at a bar at 2 a.m. Just drinking by yourself, and you're not going to meet the man of your life or the woman of your life at 2 a.m.
We've never got so many comments disagreeing, being like, well, I met my husband at a bar at 3 a.m. And it's like, okay, there's obviously exceptions to the rule, but I think most people are not.
First of all, at 2 a.m., most people are not thinking clearly, so you probably won't remember who you met.
Yeah, well,
But good luck to the ones who did, and we're happy for you.
Ashbrook00 said, I call it the Cinderella rule. Go home by 12. Everything after that is a mess.
I agree with her completely.
Yeah. Another video we did was Grandma Gail responding to my dating app match. So you had the full conversation for me. And people asked if you do consulting services for them.
I think this is a stretch, guys. I think you have to figure out your own answers for your dates. And I really don't. I came up with some of those that are just cute. And I hope nobody gets offended.
Okay, let's do Grandma Gail's headlines of the week, and then we'll do mine after.
Well, I think the big headline of the week for everyone were the failure with the banks, that the tech bank out in San Francisco failed, mainly because of all the bad practices from San Francisco Fed and the board of directors and the bank. And there was a run on the bank, which we haven't seen since the 30s, or actually, no, I shouldn't say that, since 2008, when rules were put in place to stop this. So I think what's happening now is people are nervous, and as rightfully they should, but there are a lot of good things. The government came right out, said the depositors were insured up to a certain amount, and there are lots of people now who are saying there are ways of doing it so that they're be insured even at the higher levels. But it just goes to show you that you have to be careful about how you use your money and how you save and how you, I always say you can't keep your eggs in one basket. That's the theme of our dating a subject a couple of weeks ago, and I say it to Kim all the time. Until you're at one particular point in your life where you have one guy and one love, you got to play the field. The same with putting your money in a bank. I would disperse it. If you have a lot of money, disperse it amongst a few of the good banks, and make sure your finances are secure. And that's a very scary thing for young people, and certainly for older people.
My headlines, and sorry if these are a bit old because I guess we're filming this before the episode comes out. The Kardashians are not invited to the Met Gala this night.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Anna must have thought again about that. They were all of them went last year.
I think they get too much attention.
I think it took away from the mission a little bit.
I think it probably does.
Mm-hmm. And it's just interesting to think about, like, what is fashion, who gets invited to this event, because really fashion is like influence and power now, and like if the Kardashians are not invited, like
there'll be someone else who will take their place. The Met, of course, does wonderful work with the monies they raise.
yeah, it is a charity
Right.
function. It's
Exactly.
not like the Vanity Fair party or the Oscars or something like
Right.
that.
It's really for the betterment of the community and the museum.
Yeah, I always think it's interesting too with the Oscars how like you're only invited if you're nominated. So even like Brad Pitt isn't invited to the Oscars if he's not like nominated. Like if he's
Oh,
not,
I think if he wants an invitation.
no, I don't think so.
Oh, really?
I think those people go to like the after parties, but I think if you're not in a film, I don't think you go.
I mean, all those people in the audience are attached to a film?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
All right.
I think so. Like even like Lady Gaga, like she's there because she performed.
Right, right.
Like, she wouldn't have been invited otherwise. Unless she
Oh,
was,
by the way, Kim, you talked about her dress on we had a review of the
outfits.
Oscar outfits, and I really hadn't seen it from the back until I guess I saw it in the news.
yeah, I told you. It
Oh
was,
my
like,
gosh!
all
And she had
sheer.
no back. It was down to her
Below her crotch.
tushy tush
For sure. Yeah.
and
I actually really liked the dress.
well, she looked gorgeous,
Yeah.
but that's a pretty daring dress.
My other headline was just about this Vanderpump Rules reality show. There's been all this drama. It's like all over social media and stuff. We kind of talked about this the other day, that this guy, Tom, cheated on his
Oh, Lord.
girlfriend of like years. Like I want to say like 10 years with one of their friends. And the friend like is just always pretends to be this like sweet, naive girl. And everyone's always like, oh, she's stupid. Like, cause she's like a model and like, she doesn't get it. But like, how many times could you be stupid and like make those kind of things?
Maybe she's cheating on him as well. Maybe that's their relationship. You don't know what makes a relationship work. Very often, my mother used to say this, you don't know what goes on behind closed
Yeah.
doors. And you don't know what the dynamics are between these two. I mean, maybe they believe in an open relationship. Probably they don't. And the relationship probably
well,
will
they're
end.
like that. So I would actually believe that. The thing is, I think he had to like issue a statement and she was very
Oh,
upset.
wow.
And like, so that clearly wasn't the situation. And all of their friends now are like going on social
Siding,
media
right.
and siding with her, it's just a lot of drama. And everyone's like, why is this all over our page?
Well, guess what? It'll pass, guys.
So we didn't ask Grandma anything on Instagram. You guys wrote in your questions. We answered a lot on there. We're going to answer some of the remainder on here as well. Okay, so listener question number 1. Best place in my 60s to meet people on the Upper East Side, friends, dates, etc.
I guess they're asking me, so if they're in their 60s. For me, the best place to meet somebody would be either to go to a lecture at a museum. At night, they have loads of them at the Met, I know for sure. I know the Guggenheim does as well. And you meet interesting people who have like interests. Or you'd have to really, I know that there are dating apps for older people to meet. I'm not a big lover of that because I'm not familiar with it as well as other people are, but you could certainly try those. And then also always, what about church dinners or synagogues on Friday night when people come and meet? And every house of worship has it. So I think all the churches have it as well. So I think those are ideas. And also best friends or casual acquaintances sometimes have a friend who's also single and would like to have a date with someone of their age.
Will you ever do an event for young singles in New York City? Maybe.
Yeah,
We were
we certainly
thinking about
could.
doing some sort of live event at some point. So that's definitely an idea, but you guys will be the first to know if we do. What do you guys think of tarot cards? Have you ever had a reading? I had a reading. Grandma came.
They weren't very accurate. They kept saying your old love was going to come.
Yeah, where the fuck are you?
Where's her old love? I don't even know which love
I'm
you're
still
talking.
waiting.
So the card wasn't so good.
The
on that.
cards, maybe the timing was a little off.
Well, if you can wait another 10 years,
Yeah,
maybe
maybe.
somebody will come in.
Maybe. So no, I totally like love to do that stuff, but
it's fun. Don't take it too.
yeah.
Don't take it too seriously.
Exactly. How would you recommend decorating a new home? Where do you start? What item do you get first?
Well, if I was doing it, I think you have to get the rug first because that dictates the colors you're going to pick up in the room. So I would basically go from the bottom up. You'd get the rug, and then you get a sofa. And then from the sofa, you know,
so
the
rug
size
first?
of a. Well, I would, because then you pick, because a rug is very hard
I
and
always
specific.
do that last.
No.
I feel like I'm like, what do I care about? Like, what's the biggest piece in the room? Like the couch.
Well, the couch, but the couch color would depend on the rug.
I guess so.
Because the usually. So I think most designers go from the floor up. And then you would also pick up a color perhaps from the rug on the walls. So I would definitely say rug first, then sofa, and then your smaller pieces. Mm-hmm. And of course your TV.
Yeah.
We can't live without a TV.
Wedding dances when you're 65. Love to dance, but don't want to be obvious.
Well, what do you mean obvious? You're getting married. And you should be happy.
You're wearing a white dress. Like, it's going to be obvious.
Well, no, maybe not white. She might not
really?
wear white at 65. She might wear blush or something.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway, you know what? Good for you. You're getting married. You're 65. Do whatever makes you happy. I think Fred Astaire studios are still around. So if you need some advice, go to them.
I have a friend who always wants to take dancing lessons.
A lot of people love it, especially the tango.
But I'm like, no one's dancing like that in the club or in a bar. Like, what? Like, no one's like bursting out into like dance moves. You just kind of like nod your head and stand there. So what is the point?
Well, I don't know. If you watch the Bollywood movies, which
Yeah, but
I
that's
love,
not
they're
happening.
dancing all the time.
That's not real life. What do you do with a guy who seems interested but lacks communication? Story of my life.
I don't think you can do very much. That's their personality. So you either have to, not expect to, don't expect to change somebody's personality. Nobody, this is a conversation we've now had for 3 years.
Communication is your personality?
I mean, unfortunately, the days of picking up a phone seem to be gone. So, you can't even tell somebody's personality over a text usually.
You can work on communication. That's a behavior.
Yeah, you can work on it, but if you have to work on it, then think twice about the relationship.
Yeah.
I mean,
think
there are a lot
that's
of things you have to work on after the relationship takes place. But if you have to work on too many things before, it's better off with someone else.
Yeah, like I think that's a big red flag, but if you do want to try to work on it, you can always say only once, but say one thing like if let's say they don't make plans with you or they want to make a plan but it's last minute. Just say like, would love a little bit more advance next time, like my schedule fills up or whatever. Like say one thing, and then if it doesn't change, I feel like then
that's his personality.
Do you do Passover?
Yes, we do, but unfortunately, because I'm in Florida and some of my children are here, and then some of my children are up in New York, and then two of my my grandchildren are not with us because they're far away at school. It's becoming more and more difficult, but we do Passover. Sometimes we Zoom it so we could all do it together, and sort of we've tried that. It sort of works. They usually see a lot of feet in the Zoom call, but yes, I definitely do Passover.
I'll be here in Florida with you.
Yes, that's true. Thank heavens.
Will you make brisket?
Well, we're going to have brisket.
Another great episode of Excuse My Grandma. Follow us on social media. We're Excuse My Grandma. And we will see you next week.
Bye.